Have you ever wondered how a fairy tale can quickly become a nightmare? What secrets did Princess Diana and Prince Charles hide behind the palace walls, and how did their tumultuous relationship impact their son, Prince Harry? Join us as we unravel the dramatic saga that not only captivated the world, but also forever altered the British royal family. In the meantime, please subscribe to my channel TV Stars, give it a like and leave a comment of at least 7 words, and if you feel like it, share this video with others. It will really help my channel. Thank you, and let's keep going. From the very beginning, Prince Harry's life was anything but ordinary. Born into the British royal family, he faced immense scrutiny from the media and the public. His charismatic yet rebellious nature often put him in the spotlight, but it was the shocking revelations that emerged from his family's history that truly defined him. At the age of 40, Harry finally opened up about the struggles he faced growing up amidst royal expectations and personal turmoil. But to fully understand his journey, we must delve into the complex story of his parents, a tale of love, betrayal, and ultimately, heartbreak. The marriage between Diana and Charles was one of the most talked about unions of the 20th century. Initially, it seemed like a perfect fairy tale, complete with grandeur and romance. Diana, a young woman with limited experience in royal life, married Charles, the heir to the British throne, in 1981. Their wedding was a global spectacle, watched by millions, and many believed they were destined for a storybook ending. However, beneath the glossy surface lay a tumultuous reality that would eventually lead to one of the most scandalous chapters in royal history. Charles had long been entangled in a complicated relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, a romance that began even before he met Diana. Despite this emotional connection, Charles felt the weight of royal expectations, which compelled him to marry Diana, who was seen as the perfect match due to her youth and beauty. Diana was smitten with Charles at their first meeting, but shortly after their wedding, the fairy tale began to unravel. It soon became apparent that Charles remained emotionally tethered to Camilla, leading to an increasing rift in their marriage. Despite Diana's efforts to please her husband and fit into the demanding royal lifestyle, Charles's clandestine meetings with Camilla inflicted deep wounds. Over time, as public interest in their personal lives grew, their troubles became increasingly visible. Diana, known for her compassion and relatable nature, began to share her inner struggles, revealing the emotional toll her marriage was taking on her. The once vibrant princess began to show signs of distress, openly discussing her feelings of isolation and despair. As the media continued to pry into their lives, the tension between Charles and Diana became palpable, especially during public appearances. What was once seen as a loving couple started to appear more like distant strangers. Even as Diana diligently fulfilled her royal duties and continued her charitable work, her personal life was in turmoil. Meanwhile, Charles became more openly involved with Camilla, intensifying the strain between him and Diana. Years rolled on, and their marriage became an open secret, with public sentiment shifting in favor of Diana as more details about Charles's infidelity emerged. The emotional damage inflicted by Charles's affair weighed heavily on Diana, who later admitted in interviews that she felt alone and unsupported by both the royal family and her husband. The burden of these years took a toll on her well-being and mental health. The final blow to their marriage came with the release of the infamous book, Diana, Her True Story, authored by journalist Andrew Morton in 1992. In this groundbreaking work, Diana shared her side of the story, offering a candid account of her struggles and the realities of her marriage. The revelations shook the world, exposing the emotional turmoil Diana endured and the details of Charles's long-standing affair with Camilla. The royal family, already under intense public scrutiny, could no longer ignore the escalating discord between Charles and Diana. Buckingham Palace released a statement indicating that the Prince and Princess of Wales had made the difficult decision to separate, though they emphasized that they did not plan to divorce and that their constitutional positions remained intact. By 1992, the couple had officially parted ways, and their divorce process was marked by tension and public interest. Charles, deeply involved with Camilla, and Diana, wounded by her husband's betrayal, began to chart their separate paths. Despite the separation, the royal family's attempts to maintain a united front were evident. Diana continued to enjoy immense popularity among the public, and her status only grew post-divorce. Meanwhile, Charles and Camilla's relationship remained a subject of controversy, with many still blaming Camilla for the collapse of Charles and Diana's marriage. As time went on, Charles and Camilla's relationship navigated the turbulent waters of public opinion, remaining largely hidden from view. However, in 1996, the couple finalized their divorce, marking the end of a tumultuous chapter in both their lives. The impact of their relationship sent ripples through the royal family, and the media continued to monitor their every move. In 2005, Charles married Camilla, a union that, while still controversial for some, was seen as a long-awaited resolution to their complicated love story. Yet, the scars of his past infidelities and the public's perception of his relationship with Diana lingered on. What many didn't know about their marriage only recently came to light, with Prince Harry himself confirming long-held suspicions about his parents' struggles. After separating from Charles, Diana's life was filled with both public attention and personal challenges. One of the most talked about aspects of her postmarital life was her own romantic involvement during her marriage. Enter James Hewitt, a figure who became a notable part of Diana's life in the 1980s and 90s. Many viewed this affair as Diana's way of striking back at Charles, whose relationship with Camilla had already become public knowledge. James Hewitt was born on April 30th, 1978, in Dorking, England, coming from a well-off family with a legacy of military service. Following family tradition, he joined the British Army after receiving an education at prestigious institutions including Dragon School in Oxford and Eton College. His career path led him to the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, where he trained to become a tank commander. Known for his charm, looks, and athleticism, Hewitt quickly made a name for himself among his peers. As we continue to explore the intricate dynamics of Diana's relationships and how they shaped her life and the lives of her children, it becomes clear that the legacy of love and betrayal within the royal family is far from over. Stay tuned as we unveil more shocking truths and revelations that continue to captivate audiences around the world, right here on TV Stars. What if I told you that behind the glitzy facade of the British royal family lies a tangled web of love, betrayal, and heartache? How did the charming James Hewitt become a pivotal figure in the life of Princess Diana while she was still married to Prince Charles? And what lasting impact did their torrid affair have on their children, especially Prince Harry? James Hewitt, a name that resonates with scandal and intrigue, was not just a military man. His military career and connections to the royal family catapulted him into the orbit of Diana. Their fateful meeting occurred when he served as an instructor in the prestigious Household Cavalry of the British Army. At that time, Diana was still married to Charles, but their relationship was fraying at the seams. The once glamorous union had soured, leaving Diana feeling increasingly isolated and abandoned by her husband. Charles had already rekindled his romance with Camilla, leaving Diana to grapple with the emotional fallout of a loveless marriage. When Diana met James, an immediate chemistry ignited between them. With his striking looks and charismatic personality, James offered a refreshing escape from the royal world that had begun to suffocate her. Their initial connection blossomed into a tender friendship, where James provided the emotional support that Diana so desperately needed. As time passed, this bond deepened, inevitably transforming into a passionate affair. For a while, they managed to keep their romance under wraps. Diana and James were both keenly aware of the need to protect their personal lives from the prying eyes of the media. However, as is often the case with high-profile relationships, rumors began to swirl. British tabloids, which had been closely monitoring Diana's tumultuous marriage to Charles, soon caught wind of their affair. By 1992, the details of Diana and James's romance had become public knowledge, making headlines across the globe. For many, Diana's relationship with James represented a turning point. It was her declaration of independence after enduring years of emotional suffering in her marriage to Charles. Some viewed her romance as a personal response to Charles's infidelity with Camilla, a way for Diana to assert herself and reclaim her narrative. Yet this newfound relationship quickly became one of the most talked about aspects of her life during a time when she was under intense public scrutiny. The media circus surrounding their romance only intensified the already existing pressures on both Diana and James. Initially, James reveled in the attention that came from dating the world-renowned princess. However, he soon found himself ensnared in the relentless spotlight as paparazzi hounded them at every turn. The stress of living under such scrutiny began to wear on their relationship, creating an emotional battleground that neither had anticipated. Despite these challenges, Diana and James's affair persisted for several years. However, by the late 1990s, it became clear that their relationship was not meant to last. The very fame that had initially drawn them together began to erode the foundation of their romance. James, once a source of emotional solace for Diana amid her turbulent marriage, found himself caught in a whirlwind of celebrity and pressure brought on by the association with one of the most famous women in the world. As Diana's life continued to be a series of dramatic upheavals, the lingering pain from her marriage to Charles remained a constant shadow even after their separation. By the early 1990s, the cracks in her relationship with James started to show, and by 1992, they officially ended their romance. Although Diana remained a beloved figure among the public, her relationship with James had left a significant imprint on her life post-divorce. It allowed her to regain a sense of self-worth and take control of her happiness, which had been stifled during her marriage to Charles. After their romance ended, James returned to his military career for a time, before exploring other avenues. He became yet another chapter in the complex narrative of Diana's life, following her split from Charles. Their relationship, while having concluded years before the tragic death of Diana, symbolized her search for love, happiness, and emotional fulfillment amidst the chaos of her public and private life. Yet one lingering rumor would haunt the British monarchy indefinitely. What about the two confused boys left in the wake of it all? Prince Harry's early life was marked by turmoil and upheaval, not only due to his role as a member of the British royal family, but also because of the personal struggles his parents, Charles and Diana, faced. As the public became engrossed in the dramatic unraveling of Charles and Diana's marriage, the repercussions for their children, especially Harry, were profound and far-reaching. Harry, born in 1984 as the second son of Charles and Diana, was just 2 years younger than his elder brother, William. Despite their privileged status, Harry and William were not immune to the tension and discord within their family. The relationship between Charles and Diana was fraught with conflict, but the public revelations about Charles's affair with Camilla and the subsequent collapse of their marriage sent shockwaves through the royal family, deeply affecting their children in both subtle and overt ways. For Harry, the news of his father's infidelity was not merely a source of public embarrassment. It felt like a profound personal betrayal. As a young boy, he struggled to grasp the complexities of his parents' marriage, but he acutely felt the shifts occurring around him. The emotional toll on Diana, who had already endured years of neglect and isolation in her marriage, was palpable, and Harry, along with William, bore witness to their mother's pain, fully aware that their family was no longer the united front it once appeared to be. As the marriage between Charles and Diana grew increasingly public and contentious throughout the early 1990s, the media fixation intensified. The press, long fascinated by the royal family, turned their gaze toward the escalating tensions between Charles and Diana. The public struggles that Diana faced with her mental health, her own infidelities, and the emotional neglect from Charles became fodder for tabloids. For the boys, the environment was unbearable. They were young and powerless to influence the media coverage or the public discourse surrounding their family. Harry was only about 10 years old when his parents officially divorced in 1996. At that tender age, children often find it challenging to comprehend the emotional intricacies of such a life-altering event. But the underlying tension and change were unmistakable. His relationship with his father, Charles, had already been strained, and the divorce exacerbated their disconnect. Harry grappled with reconciling the image of his father as a future king with the reality of a man who had betrayed his mother and torn their family apart. While William often took on the role of protector and mediator, Harry's rebellious nature became increasingly apparent as he grew older, leading to behavior that would be well documented in the years to come. As a child, Harry found it challenging to accept the idea of his parents' divorce, especially the fact that his father had been unfaithful to Diana. The public nature of their divorce, finalized in 1996, was an agonizing process. Both Charles and Diana aired their grievances in interviews, memoirs, and public statements, adding another layer of pressure for their children, who found themselves at the center of a media frenzy. For Harry, the divorce marked the beginning of a more complicated relationship with the monarchy and his place within it, navigating the expectations placed upon him as a royal, while also grappling with the emotional fallout from his parents' marriage, became increasingly difficult during his teenage years. His rebellious tendencies became more pronounced as he struggled to balance his identity as a prince with the legacy of his family's tumultuous history. Harry's childhood was characterized by confusion and heartache as he faced the consequences of his parents' choices in the glaring spotlight of public scrutiny. As he grew into adulthood, the lasting effects of that tumultuous early life continued to shape his perspective on family, duty, and love in ways that would resonate throughout his journey as a royal and as a man. Have you ever wondered how the tragic events of Princess Diana's life impacted her sons, William and Harry? Or what if the relentless rumors surrounding Harry's paternity have caused him more pain than we can imagine? What truths lie hidden behind the facade of the royal family? From the outside looking in, the royal family appears to be a picture of grace and privilege. Yet behind the palace walls, there are stories of heartache, confusion, and tumultuous relationships. As time went on, it became clear that while Prince William was expected to assume a significant role within the family, his younger brother, Prince Harry, was searching for ways to escape the crushing weight of royal responsibilities. A lot of this burden stemmed from painful memories of their parents' divorce. The media's portrayal of both brothers during their formative years only exacerbated their struggles. Growing up as the children of one of the most famous couples in the world, they were constantly under the spotlight. Photographs of Harry and William with their beloved mother, Diana, circulated widely, while their emotional battles became fodder for tabloids. The divorce was never just a private affair for the royal family. It was a spectacle, and Harry faced immense pressure as a result. Despite her efforts to shield her sons from the media frenzy surrounding her separation from Charles, Diana did her utmost to provide them with love, support, and guidance during those tumultuous times. Nevertheless, the stress from the divorce took its toll on Diana, who struggled with her own emotional battles amidst the public drama surrounding her relationship with Charles and the impact on her children. After the divorce, Harry's relationship with his father remained strained. Although Charles was still a presence in his life, it was apparent that the bond they once shared had weakened significantly. Charles was often described as distant and emotionally unavailable, especially during Harry's teenage years. This lack of emotional closeness from both parents left Harry feeling isolated and misunderstood, contributing to his growing sense of rebellion. But perhaps the most painful aspect of Harry's upbringing came from the recent revelations he has shared, specifically the long-standing rumors surrounding his paternity. For years, speculation swirled around the British royal family regarding Prince Harry's father. A controversial and persistent theory, which received extensive media coverage, suggested that Major James Hewitt, a former British Army officer and Diana's lover, might actually be Harry's biological father. This idea was not merely a fleeting tabloid story, it became deeply ingrained in public discourse, fueled by the striking physical resemblance between Harry and James, as well as their shared military backgrounds. James Hewitt rose to fame in the 1980s, largely due to his relationship with Diana. Their romance, which lasted several years, became one of the most sensational stories associated with the royal family. Whereas Charles presented himself as a more reserved and detached figure, James was viewed as a strong, rugged man, vastly different from the prince. The theory that Hewitt could be Harry's father gained momentum for several reasons, the most obvious being Harry's red hair, a distinctive trait he shares with James. This resemblance was so striking that it prompted people to wonder if there was more to it than mere coincidence. Additionally, as Harry grew older, many couldn't help but notice how closely he resembled the man with whom Diana had shared a romantic connection. The media fanned the flames further by constantly comparing photographs of Harry and James, noting their uncanny similarities. Another contributing factor to the rumors was the fact that both Harry and James had military ties. Harry served in the British Army, rising through the ranks and gaining recognition for his work, including frontline service in Afghanistan. The press sees this parallel as yet another point of comparison to James, who also had a military background. The relentless media scrutiny compounded Harry's own uncertainties about his paternity. For a period, he believed the whispers and rumors suggesting that James could be his father. The constant barrage of headlines regarding Diana's affair with Hewitt must have been incredibly challenging for Harry, who was navigating a very public family drama during his formative years. It's entirely understandable that, as a young man trying to grasp the complexities of royal life, the notion of his paternity being under constant scrutiny would be difficult to bear. In fact, for several years, Harry seemed to grapple with the idea that Hewitt might be his father. The rumors were so pervasive, and the media so relentless, that it felt as though this speculation had become a part of his narrative. However, now at the age of 40, Prince Harry has finally addressed what many of us suspected all along. The truth about his paternity has become clearer over time. By 2014, Harry reached the realization that Diana and James began their romantic relationship only after he was born. Born in 1984, Harry's birth predated the start of Diana's romance with Hewitt, thereby making it biologically impossible for James to be his father. This revelation was a pivotal moment that Harry later publicly acknowledged, making it clear that the rumors were unfounded. He stated that while the media perpetuated the speculation, James Hewitt is not his biological father, and this can be easily proven. Harry's biological father is, of course, Prince Charles, despite the years of swirling rumors. Although Harry spoke out against these unfounded claims, the chatter did not subside, leading to considerable frustration on his part. The press remained unyielding, even in light of new information that directly contradicted the rumors. The ongoing speculation about his paternity has caused Harry significant emotional distress, and it continues to haunt him to this day. What else lies within this tangled web of royal family intrigue? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's dive deeper into this captivating story.